So it seems like Paramount tried to torpedo the career of Tom Hardy while also getting him fired from MobLand, but in the end only really managed to get the entire internet to realize that Helen Mirren is a terrible person. So, as always, incredible work from Paramount. On May 22nd, all the trades came out with this story. Tom Hardy's been fired from MobLand after season 2 wrapped production, Variety has confirmed. And the hit pieces started to roll in from every corner of the internet. Now, the Hollywood Reporter, through an anonymous source, said he kept the cast waiting, which is a power play. Keeping Pierce Brosnan and Helen Mirren waiting is career ending, I would wager. Those are pretty strong words for an anonymous source, but anonymous sources are all this story really seemed to have. But the hit pieces rolled on, and we got stuff like this. Inside Tom Hardy's explosive on-set clashes with A-list co-stars Helen Mirren, Shia LaBeouf, and Charlize Theron. With Tom Hardy, who's been in over 60 film projects since 1999, there was allegedly an "and more" here. Shia LaBeouf is a fucking scumbag. It actually makes me like Tom Hardy more that these two got in a fist fight on the set of Lawless. The situation on the set of Mad Max Fury Road, I think Tom Hardy acted like a dickhead. I've talked about that before. I can understand that tempers flare in the horrible conditions George Miller had them working in to make that insane movie, but he did keep people waiting there, and Charlize Theron blew up at him. He blew up back at her. He was not a professional. When you look at the body of work, I see that as a shitty outlier. The "and more" in this article is this thing from Patrick Stewart, who was in a Star Trek movie with him, and said the actor who portrayed the movie's villain was an odd, solitary young man from London. His name was Tom Hardy. He wouldn't engage with any of us on a social level, never said good morning, spent the hours he wasn't needed on set in his trailer with his girlfriend. This is the extent of the terrible behavior of Tom Hardy on that set. Tom, who was a young actor acting across from Patrick Stewart, said he was terrified on that set. You can't hide it. The camera will pick it up. I was genuinely out of my depth. The whole thing was, how can I do this? I took it very seriously. And if you understand the background and the life of Tom Hardy, the stuff he's been through, I think all this makes sense. The other thing some have noticed is that Tom Hardy is still a part of Artists for Ceasefire, which has updated its messaging over the past 3 years. Tom also recently seemingly showed support for Kneecap. Now, I think Tom's support publicly for Palestine has been overstated a bit on the internet, but he has undoubtedly put himself on the right side of history, and we know that Paramount does not like that. We all know where Helen Mirren stands on that topic. This is a woman that has played gold on my ear. A woman who's opposed the BDS movement at every single turn. A woman who famously said about her visit in 1967, "I witnessed things that were wrong. I saw Arabs being thrown out of their homes in Jerusalem, but it was just the extraordinary magical energy of a country just beginning to put its roots in the ground. It was an amazing time to be here." It's truly one of the more disgusting quotes you'll find from an A-list star. Mirren was also publicly confronted for these views just the other day, which is now being investigated as this, even though she was just called this, and she is a Gentile. Can someone explain to me how this would work? Every single time Helen Mirren's had a chance to do something decent on the topic, she has chosen the wrong path. While Tom Hardy seems to be someone who just kind of keeps to himself, last year revealed he's on the autism spectrum, came out with a line of BJJ gear in tandem with that, partnered with Tatami on the line of gear, and the entire idea here is to promote autism awareness and also to celebrate neurodivergent fighters. As someone who's been known as an intense person, passionate and dedicated to his work, and as I said, all of that intensity spilled over on Mad Max Fury Road, and it shouldn't have. Again, I think they tried to use that against him, and that is not the norm when you look at his career. And then as the week went on, we started to get some more information saying that he had issues with scripts arriving late, sometimes a week before filming, which clashed with him wanting to rehearse. And morphed to, oh, he was showing up late to set sometimes, he's difficult, but he's a movie star. Meanwhile, this guy's tweet blew up allegedly in the area where they were shooting, said Tom Hardy was on set early, often late into the evening. I spoke to scores of crew, some main actors, and a handful of extras. There was never even a hint of this being an unhappy set. This seems very odd. Same man, mind you, that when they were building the sets for MobLand Season 1, offered to pay the salaries of all the carpenters there because the company they were working for that was building the sets went out of business. He said, I'll drop $300K and pay you guys myself. But anyway, then we get this absolutely hilarious high-effort post from Helen Mirren. Love you now and always, Helen. Could you not have paid someone to make this look like halfway decent? And then what do you know, the latest development is that Tom Hardy actually wasn't fired. They're still actually just hashing things out for season 3. The thing is, Variety already confirmed he was fired 8 days ago, right? So the question is, what the hell happened here?